Hi everyone, my name is Rachel Regan and I am your material making instructor. Usually I see you about twice a year, summertime for gluing boxes, and in February during the infant seminar for mobile making. So today we'll run through a few things. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I'll tell you what's in a gluing box, or what is a gluing box, and then what is in your kit. Gluing and assembly tips, and decorating your box finally, and when you'll need it by, and how you will submit your gluing box. So a little bit about me. I took the infant toddler training at Mecca a couple years ago. I actually moved to Colorado to do the training from Savannah, Georgia, and got a job in Golden teaching at a school at a toddler program. I've been teaching for 5 years, and I'm now currently the toddler lead at Children's Garden Montessori in Denver. I love working with toddlers. I love infants too, but currently doing the toddler thing. I'm also in the admin program at Mecca, so I'm there quite frequently. You probably will see me a lot. So what is a gluing box? My gluing box is right here. So we have the base box, which I talked about. It's kind of like the tray that holds everything. And then you have I'll just take it apart, your shape sorting box. You have a lid, and then under that lid is space for all your shapes that the children use, which you can put, if you're setting circles at the time, you can put different color circles in there for them to glue on or what have you. And then a space for your paintbrush, which should come in your kit. You decorate the lid, and we'll talk more about that later. But that just helps them see what's the top. And the children will take that off, flip it around, and do their gluing work on the back. And then when they're done, put it right back on top. You will make a holder for your glue bottle, glue box. And this also came in your kit. And then we also make a paper tray to put in there. So those are the 4 components of what make up our gluing box. Now, in our kits, you have gotten wrapped up wood pieces. It's like in the green cellophane. So those are all the pieces you will need for your gluing box. And then you should have gotten a Ziploc baggie that had, like I said, the glue bottle in the glue brush, paintbrush, as well as 2 pieces of sandpaper, 3 wood hot glue, so it's wood glue but hot glue sticks, and 2 razors. And I'll get into what all of those are used for. But first, I'd like to talk about each component. So I break down making the gluing box by portion. So first we'll do the base box, the bigger one. Then we'll do the shape sorter. Then we do the paper holder, and then the glue holder. So when you unwrap your pieces, it kind of is like, what is going on here? What do I need? I have measured everything and written down the measurements in the written instructions. So you have 2 modes of instructions from me. You have written instructions, and you have a video of me dry building the gluing box. So when I say I sort all the pieces, I sort them by components. So first, the base. You should have a large bottom. That's the largest piece in the kit. And then you'll have 2 11-inch sides and 2 8-inch sides. So I put all of that together and I separate it from the rest. So that's your base. Then I put together the pieces of the sorting box. You'll have 2 squares. One is your lid and one is your base. Take a look at them, see which one you would prefer to have as your lid, because that's where you'll decorate it. So choose of the 2. One's your base, one's your lid. And then you should have 6 rectangles, sides, what look like sides. 4 of the bigger ones, so that you can see they're just slightly different. Separate them, because the bigger ones are going to be the sides of your sorting box, and the smaller ones are going to go inside and help create that divide. So let me show you. So the larger ones, and I've put the measurements in both the video and the instructions. The sides go here, and these are for the two smaller ones. And then these are made up from these. You should have 4 of them. And I keep those with the shorter inside and keep the sides to one side. So I make sure that they're separated so I don't get them mixed up. If you put one of the larger ones on the inside, it's going to mess everything up and you're going to have to start again. So pay attention to that. So that's your sorting box. Then you should have, for your paper holder, you should have a 4.5 inch rectangular base, a 3 inch piece for the back, so you stick it here, and then on either side you'll have these, I call them notched rectangles, and they go on the side. The last component of the gluing box is the glue holder. So it's this tiny box that holds the glue. Now this is very important. So you have, first you have a small square, it's like 2-ish inches, and then you have 4 of these rectangles. Don't get them mixed up with the rectangles that go in the shape sorter. Very important. Keep them separate. This is the important part about the glue box. So, as you will notice here, this box, the sides are all glued around the base. You can see the edge there. They're not glued on top of it, they're glued around it. If you glue on top of it, it will not work. So that's very important to keep in mind. It's in the instructions, it's in the video. Everything else that you make will be glued, all the siding will be glued on top of the bases. That the glue holder is the only one where it's glued around. So this is on top. And that's for everything else. So make sure you keep that in mind. So for gluing and assembling, once you've got all of your components sorted with the pieces that they need, you're going to take the pieces of sandpaper and gently sand the sides. This is a simple sanding. You're just kind of taking off any of the rough edges after cutting, smooth enough for you to work with and smooth enough for small hands that are going to be handling it. Do not use a sander. If you use a sander, I had someone do this a few years ago, it rounds the edges too much and it doesn't work. So these are all fit for size. Keeping the sizing is very important. So don't over sand even manually. Just a nice light sanding, 20-ish minutes. That's all you need. So you'll sand first after you sort them. And then you're going to do a dry build. So what a dry build is just making the box without the glue. And of course that comes in handy because when you have the components built on their, or organized on their own. So first you'll dry build the base and figure that out. And then you'll dry build the sorting box. So on and so forth. And just follow along with my videos. It might feel like a waste of time to do a dry run. It's probably one of the most important things you can do. Gluing without doing a dry run and figuring out where things go will just lead to problems, and honestly will take more time because you'll have to take it apart and use the razors to cut the glue off and try again. So do the dry run. I would even say once you're ready to glue, make sure you do a dry run and have the pieces where you want them to be before you start. So follow the instructions in the video, go through the dry run, and then you can use those instructions again to help you with the gluing portion. I did it as much as I could in the order of which you should be gluing them. So when you are gluing them, like I said, a lot of times you're going to be putting it on the base. So you're going to be using the hot glue on the bottom and on the side. Because a lot of times when you're gluing the siding onto the base of whatever it is you're building, you're going to be making an L shape. So having the glue on the side is very important. Hot glue, as you know, is messy and it's really hard. It can be hard to work with. You can burn yourself, so please be careful. And you're going to have to work quickly. Hot glue dries pretty fast. This is where having someone help you is very important. Whether it's your partner, a friend, a neighbor, a colleague, it's helpful to have someone who's holding the piece and someone who's gluing the piece. It's not impossible to do by yourself. It's not. but it's definitely helpful to have someone help you handle it because of how quickly it dries. I provided wood hot glue sticks, so it's wood glue for a hot glue gun. If you need more of those, I bought them at Ace Hardware. I have here, and these are the ones we have at Mecker. These are 80-watt Stanley glue guns. If you don't have a glue gun, invest in one. It's one of the best tools, one of the most used tools I have in my classroom, just repairing things. And then make sure it has the wide mouth because those sticks are the wider of glue sticks. So when you glue, remember on the side and on the bottom, and you'll place down and hold it and let it dry. And that's also the benefit to hot glue. It dries pretty fast. So it's a negative and a positive. So keep on it, and if you've done the dry build, it will help you kind of move along seamlessly while you're gluing. If you mess up, that's what the razors are for. Just gently tug the piece off of the base and scrape off the glue and try again. So not a big deal. It can be frustrating. You definitely need a lot of time and a lot of patience for this activity. If you want to break up the sanding and the dry build and the gluing, you absolutely can do that. It can take a while if you do it all at once, but definitely do the steps, do the sorting and the dry build and then the gluing. So that's very important. With decorating the lid, you are free to do whatever you would like. I've seen people do a lot of stuff. Here I just did painting and stamping. I've seen people paint. I've seen people do wood burning on the lid. I've seen people Mod Podge beautiful photos. But the point is to make it beautiful and inviting and enticing for the child. I don't suggest, I've seen people do like glitter. That's kind of distracting, but do whatever you would like, whatever you feel. Just make it beautiful and inviting for the child. And make sure it designates that this is the lid, this is the top of it. To get credit for your gluing box, I would like to see a picture of it completed. It doesn't have to have stuff in it. Don't worry, you don't have to have like glue and paper and glue pieces. I just need to see the structure itself. And please take a picture with the lid off. You do not have to have the lid decorated to have it counted as done. This has taken me a long time to think of what I wanted on top as well, so do not feel pressure to show me a decorated lid. I just need to see that the structure and the shapes order and everything is put together. If you have any issues at all, please feel free to email or call me or text me. Text is probably the best way to reach me if you have an issue, especially if you're in the middle of gluing something and you need help. Please text me. And I will have a due date for you to have these done by and a picture by to get your credit. So have fun, take a lot of deep breaths, take your time, do not rush through this. It's going to be a lot of fun. So enjoy, and please reach out if you have any questions. Thanks.